What's this little percent thing?
It's our upload,
Oh,
which I'm going to pause because it helps the recording. All right, let's do it. So Captain America 4, we got a trailer. We saw a character at the end of it. A character goes by the name of Red Hulk, but that was just a money shot at the end. What did you think of the whole trailer?
it looked promising. I think it's going to be good. Uh, I mean, the Red Hulk part was probably the most exciting part. Um, brings back the Shield. Got Falcon as Cap. Do you think what's his name? The other Captain America is going to be
Bucky?
in it? No, the crazy
Oh, the
guy.
old Cap?
No, maybe the old Cap, but the Defenders one.
The guy from, what's his name? From Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
What is his freaking name? I've totally forgot. I think it would make perfect sense for him to be in there, right? He was named Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and you got the president talking about Captain America becoming an official position. You have to at least address this other rogue Captain America. But then he murdered somebody. I don't know what his stance is officially.
right. He went a little crazy there.
Yeah, I didn't even. John Walker? Is it John Walker?
John Walker, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
It definitely seems like he should be in there.
Oh yeah,
I'm I'm skeptical, but the trailer looked good. As far as just the trailer goes, that was an awesome trailer in my opinion.
trailer looks good. They've had some time, so hopefully all their reshoots and everything have gone on well.
Yeah, I kind of think that these are the reshoots. Maybe if any reshoots were as important as these, I think because the reshoots were done by Kevin Feige after he came in. Bob Iger got hired again, giving Feige more power, and that's when the big reshoots started happening. I imagine those are for the best.
Right.
But the DNA of that film seems like it might still be a Bob Chapek film there when he was in charge and Marvel was pretty much overrun by mediocrity, and it seems like a lot of that film was written and shot during the Chapek era. But that doesn't mean that they didn't have a good movie brewing. You know, they put out a
Right.
lot of mediocrity, but they also put out. I liked Wakanda Forever a lot. Not everybody does. I like No Way Home was really good. I still like Doctor Strange 2. Those were all Chapek films, so it's not impossible that they had a movie that was going to be good. It's just less likely.
Right. They all can't be winners, I guess.
Seeing Isaiah Bradley, the other Captain America from the older dude who got the super soldier serum that we found out in Falcon and Winter Soldier, seeing him try to kill the president, that's juicy. That seems like a good story little element there.
Right. I wonder if they're going to have the younger Justice League kids in there too.
Yeah, they're starting
That's
to
the
build
last. That's the last
towards
time
the
we saw
Young
him,
Avengers
right?
there. And his kid, right?
It's like his kid or his grandkid or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the comics, his kid became the Iron Patriot, and he actually lied about inheriting the super soldier serum just through conception. But he was actually taking some stuff on the side to make him more powerful, and it really wasn't passed down through his father or grandfather.
Ooh.
So that's an interesting element because they are building Young Avengers. You got Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel,
Right. You got the
couple
whole
other-
squad now.
got the whole squad, and if you throw in Isaiah Bradley's kid or grandkid, didn't even consider that. Trailer was sick though. I think it had a very Winter Soldier vibe. They said it was supposed to be a Winter Soldier type of story. You could totally feel the spy thriller aspect, the political thriller aspect. But that money shot at the end is really
Right.
what gets you pumped up.
Get you looking forward to it.
Another thing I liked was when Harrison Ford tells Anthony Mackie, you might be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers, and He says, "You're right, I'm not." But the next shot just shows him open his wings, flying, taking out a jet, hitting supersonic speed, and like Captain America can't do that.
Right.
That was pretty cool in a sense that I'm not excited about him as Captain America. I love Anthony Mackie as Falcon, but he doesn't have the super soldier serum. He's not a superhuman at all. I don't know how that'll work, but he could fly and he could take down jets.
Right? That's pretty super in itself, I suppose.
Right? But that doesn't mean he could fight the Red Hulk. So there's got to be other characters coming into this.
For sure. Yeah, because the Red Hulk's going to be good. Hopefully it's not just a teaser at the end for something new, though.
No, I think it'll be a big deal. I don't know. Hopefully. But you got to think, Captain America 2 had a ton of characters. Bucky, Black Widow, Nick Fury.
Black Panther.
Not Captain America 2. That was Civil War.
Oh, yeah, the Civil War, yeah.
But then Captain America 3 was practically an Avengers film. You got to figure Captain America 4 is going to have some characters, especially if he's going to be brawling with the Red Hulk.
Right. And the only thing to come out before is Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yep.
Which should be pretty good, but...
And as far as the mediocrity of Marvel goes, they're going to gain some momentum, dude. Deadpool and Wolverine is... I feel like it's going to be special. Not just a good movie. I feel like it's going to be special.
It's going to be good.
And it's... Then they drop the Cap 4 trailer. It's really early. But then if you think about it, like, you get this Cap 4 trailer that seems really dialed into the MCU lore, and it already feels like something better than what we're not used to, more important to the overall story, unlike other movies. It's cool you drop that trailer, get excited about Red Hulk, then you get Deadpool and Wolverine out there, which I think is going to change the game. It's a couple wins for Marvel, you know.
Right, it could go, yeah, anyway with Deadpool for sure.
Yeah. Did you see the final trailer? They just dropped it like today or yesterday of Deadpool and Wolverine. So. It was pretty good. It shows you it's not all blood and jokes. It had a ton of emotion. It was way more about like how much this mission means to Deadpool. You had X-23 show up. She was talking to Wolverine, and Wolverine's like, "I'm not the guy. Like, I'm not a hero in this world." And she's like, "You've never been the guy, probably in any universe, until you needed to be the guy, and then you always were." Something like that. And it was just like a solid line. I'm excited to see X-23. She's grown up. She was a badass character in Logan.
No doubt, no doubt.
And the trailer just had a way deeper emotional feel. There was like less comedy. It's almost like they were trying to tell you, like, there's a lot of heart to this movie. It's not just going to be funny and action packed.
Plus, they can time travel, right?
Who knows? I have no clue what's going on, like, technically with what they're doing. But they said they're not showing any, like, the only things we've ever seen in the trailer is the first 20 minutes. They said everything after that, it's almost too much to show to the audience because it's going to be so jammed packed with juicy stuff.
Oh, man, it's going to be good.
I know. All right. Before we get into our topic, you saw the set photos of Hawkgirl, Green Lantern for the DCU, James Gunn Superman movie. What did you think?
I hope for the best. They got a peculiar look to them in the set photos, but they're just set photos, you know. Yeah. It's got to be good somewhat, right? It's James Gunn.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they look corny as hell, campy as hell. Didn't strike me as something. It didn't excite me. I'll just say it that way. But you look online and people are talking about one of the theories that makes sense is that these people are actually under a company, and maybe a Lex Luthor company, and they're dressed in these goofy uniforms because they're working for some kind of corporation. And hopefully, I mean, maybe the story is Superman comes down and says, whatever you're doing is not cool. Like, this is, I mean, you're not being good people. And, you know, Superman sets them straight, and then they'll change their costumes, hopefully. Because did you see any green on the Green Lantern?
Mm-mm.
Looked pretty white and black.
Right? Maybe there's a bunch of CGI that has to be added or something.
Yeah.
We'll get another Ryan Reynolds one.
Right. There's a possibility the Green Lantern's here on Earth as kind of maybe a rogue lantern, has the ring, but is under his own He's doing his own thing, works for another company, is dressed like a fool. But with other characters, I could see them wearing a corny uniform for someone else. But if you're a Green Lantern, I kind of think when you put on the ring, it gives you your uniform. I don't see him putting anything over that. So the whole thing is just kind of weird for me.
Right. Yeah. I just don't know how much faith I have in the whole situation. I want it to be good, but
I have a ton of faith. I really have a ton of faith, but I won't. I'd be lying if I said these set photos got me more excited. They toned it down a bit. It got me more curious. I trust James Gunn. He saw how Marvel works. Like, he was a part of the whole thing when they were running full steam. He understands the structure. He's a comic book fan. I've said it 12 times on different episodes probably, but it's gonna be good. But their costumes suck. Let's just leave it at that.
yeah, maybe it's all just set up to make people get riled up, though. Release some pictures, get people going.
For sure. And all right, one more thing. Alien Romulus. Are you an Alien fan, and did you see the Alien trailers that are coming out?
I am an Alien fan. I haven't seen the trailers. I did see Alien Romulus was coming out, though, and I'm pretty stoked for that.
Trailers look sick. It looks like OG Alien, not Alien 2, which is amazing, full on action, but back to the Alien 1, horror, terrifying. And then I heard people on set are talking about how the director just doesn't hold back at all as far as the horror goes, and they said I think I heard a quote that said some of these scenes are going to scar some children for life, which
That's
not a ton of children
we need in our life.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Right?
Well, if the freaking boys doesn't. I'm a 30-year-old man, and the boys traumatizes me, so I don't know how much farther they're going to go than that.
It's brutal.
It's gnarly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're excited for Alien Romulus there. It'll be cool.
Oh, yeah.
There seems to be a lot of new, like, we got Twister, Top Gun, a lot of things that are being remade or rebooted, but they're working. Top Gun Maverick was sick.
Yeah, I hear Twister's good.
I hear Twister's really good. I'm really excited for Alien, but
yeah, Alien should be good. The good old.
Hello and welcome back to Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast where we talk about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, all the nerd stuff. Today we're talking about a comic book by Alan Moore, the legend, The Killing Joke. Special guest Mark, he was on with the Old Man Logan comic book review. And Mark, you've read this a few times. I remember back in the day, before I ever read it, you already had it. You said it was one of your favorite Batman comics. Is it still one of your favorite Batman comics?
Oh yeah, it holds up well. It's pretty dark. Got some dark themes going on in there, but it's a good story. Got a real good gritty Batman feel to it, It's got to be one of the best Batmans out there for sure.
For sure. It's up there for me too. I think it really encapsulates what the Joker is about.
Right? And then you get the kind of backstory of the Red Hood kind of Joker throw in there, give you a little idea on that.
He gets handed the hood, the Red Hood, which we've seen in Batman Zero Year, the New 52, a retelling of not the origin, but the first meeting of Batman and the Joker. The Joker's wearing that red hood, which I don't understand why Jason Todd ended up with that red hood, but the red hood is a Joker thing.
I never really thought about that, but that's true.
Right. Well, this is a short comic. I think it's like 2 issues worth of a story. Really quick read. It starts, the first page, Batman pulls up to Arkham. He sits down with the Joker to have a discussion about the relationship and the inevitability of all of it ending in one of them murdering each other. It sounds like Batman's ready to kill the Joker to me. He says, before I can allow all that to happen, I want to give it one last chance to sit down and talk.
Yeah, it sounds like he's had enough and he's about about to end the Joker if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
Which no one would blame him for. If Batman
right?
killed the Joker, I don't think anybody would complain, even if it breaks this no-killing rule. You're telling me, with that willpower, he's worried about becoming a murderer for the rest of his life if he kills one person. But with that willpower, you can kill the Joker and then hold yourself back from the rest of them, I would think.
Right? And how much horrible things do the Joker do? You know?
It's ridiculous. I've come to the realization over the past couple of years that I can't stand Batman as a character. He is like a ridiculous character, but somehow he has the coolest movies, the best comics, like the most good comics. I love his stories, I love his movies, but the character is ridiculous.
Yeah, he is ridiculous. I guess everybody wants to be the rich playboy vigilante, though, you know?
And it gets a little worse when I see comics and he's just a very controlling asshole to a lot of the Robins, his son, other teammates, and it
Poor
just doesn't
Alfred
help.
probably goes through hell.
Yeah, those Robins. I mean, they had a nice, rich life, but they might have some psychological issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, the no killing thing is ridiculous. When you look at how many people the Joker kills, and the fact that you see multiple comics where he doesn't trust, like, the system is totally, in a way, stabbing him in the back. The system, the justice system. And he fights against it all the time. Yet, he's fully willing to trust the system by putting, the criminals into jail, giving them to the system. And if you're so resourceful, have so much money, you got a Batcave, why don't you have your own freaking jail?
Right?
Put the Joker in your own jail that you are smart enough to keep him in there forever. But you just trust, you blindly trust the system.
Set up your own police force and everything. You could probably buy the police force that's already there.
But, yeah, so I had to get it out there. I don't like Batman as a character. I just love his stories. But
maybe it's because the Joker's always getting one up on him, like how that's not the Joker in Arkham right there, you know?
Maybe he truly does like the Joker and he needs him.
Uh-huh. It's just a weird addiction he has to chasing around a weird dude in makeup.
That's what it totally seems like. It seems like he's just addicted to beating criminals up and then having to do it again.
Right? And his like skin-tight scoot.
And we didn't even talk about the fact that he's bringing in teenagers to fight crimes and dodge bullets constantly.
Kind of got a priest vibe to it.
It just adds to the ridiculousness of the character. But like I said, somehow he's got the coolest stories. Whatever. All right, so we find out that the person he was talking to in the interrogation room, kinda, was not the Joker. It's someone in makeup. The Joker is out, and he just bought a rundown circus from somebody. A fair rides, a circus, something. That was a very Joker-y scene. He's talking about the price of this circus, what he's going to buy it for. And he sits down, and he's like, talking about the price, and he's like, well, I mean, he shakes his hand, right? And we saw a needle in his hand. And he's like, well, yeah, I might as well mention that I'm actually not going to pay for any of it, and all my guys have actually been doing all the paperwork with your guys. They already got all the signatures we need, and it's just mine now. And then we find out that the owner of the circus is now dead. He's got a big smile on his face, but he's paralyzed.
Got the Joker juice in him.
Very Jokery. He's got the Joker juice. Then we find Jim Gordon and his daughter Barbara at home, and after a knock at the door, they open it up to see Joker, who shoots Barbara right in front of Jim. Tough scene to watch. This is what paralyzes her. She ends up in a wheelchair, becomes the Oracle. I mean, eventually, this doesn't take place in The Killing Joke, but she's the man behind the scenes looking at navigation and GPS, talking to everybody about what to do. She's actually very useful as Oracle in her wheelchair as the guy behind the scenes there. But anyway, this is how she gets paralyzed. She gets shot. It's pretty brutal. very disturbingly, Joker starts unbuttoning her shirt and wants to take photos. And she asks, "Why are you doing this?" And he says, "To prove a point." Which ends up being what this whole book is about. This whole thing Joker's doing is to prove a point.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough scene. Yeah.
In your own home too. I mean, if I'm sitting there with my daughter at home and that happened, that's a nightmare. It's one of the worst things you could ever imagine happening.
Right, all to go after some other dude.
Yeah. So that's gnarly.
Horrible.
But interestingly, this comic flashes back to somewhat of an origin of the Joker. He is in a real bad place financially, him and his wife. She's actually pretty supportive. She seems like a really nice wife. She says he's good in bed, too, so that's crazy. Right? Well, you can imagine the Joker's wild. I would imagine it's either a big hit or a big miss. Apparently it's a big hit. So the Joker's solid in the sack. But he's just desperate to provide for his family. That's all it is. And this leads to him making a deal with some sort of criminals, and they're doing
Shady
something
dealings.
at the Ace Chemical place, which we all know is where Joker falls into a pit. His skin goes white, his hair goes green, and it becomes the Joker. Oh, and that's where they give him the red hood. Iconic.
Right, that's where they give him the red hood to hide his identity.
Right.
Batman shows up and he's the reason he falls into Chemical, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen that in Zero Year with New 52 and maybe one other thing. Maybe The Man Who Laughs. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, so what's his plan? He bought the circus. He shot Barbara. He captures Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
So he takes Jim Gordon, puts him through, a circus ride of some sort, and he is just showing him pictures of the pictures that he took of his daughter. She's naked, she's bloody, and that has to be extremely traumatizing. It's terrifying. It's awful.
After he stripped him down naked and all his freak showness.
After he stripped him down naked, right. So we got a nice shot of Jim Gordon's penis. If you're ever wondering, how big or small Jim Gordon's penis is, then you got an answer. Mark, any thoughts on Jim Gordon's penis? Just kidding. But he is naked. He's naked getting ran through this, and like we said, the point that's trying to be proven is that the Joker's no different from anybody else, and if anybody can go through as bad of a day as the Joker ended up going through, then they could become another Joker or another villain of some kind. It just takes one bad day. That's the whole point.
Right, just trying to put him to the breaking point.
All right. His whole thing here is, well, with Alan Moore, you always expect really solid dialogue. Like, he's one of the best at dialogue, especially when it comes to, like, big picture ideas. And his whole thing with society is I'll read a quote here. So the Joker says, he starts by saying, "Notice the hideously bloated sense of humanity's importance, the club-footed social conscience, and the withered optimism. Most repulsive of all are its frail and useless notions of order and sanity. If too much weight is placed upon them, they snap. How does this poor, pathetic specimen survive in today's harsh and irrational world? The sad answer is not very well. Faced with the inescapable fact that human existence is mad, random, and pointless, 1 in 8 of them crack up and go stark, slavering buggo," whatever the hell that means. "Any other response would be crazy." So it's like he's trying to say, if you try to control your life too much, you're going to go crazy.
Right. There's always going to be some crazy in there.
Yeah. And, to a sense, I really actually appreciate that. I mean, it's a solid philosophy there. I like living in the moment. I like just being you. I like not worrying about everything else. Just go with the flow and do what you love to do. work hard at it. You know, they say the harder you work, the luckier you get. But just find something you love, do it. Do something that's not just sitting around watching Netflix or TikTok. I'm on TikTok a lot, but I am putting stuff on TikTok. I rarely ever scroll. I just like that concept. Go with the flow, do your thing, find what you love. That's not exactly what he's saying. I'm making it my own thing here. But the point is, don't try to control the world around you.
Right.
Just
Well,
let it go.
no matter
do
how
you.
hard you try to control it, there's always going to be something that comes and screws up your day.
Absolutely.
But Commissioner Gordon handles it well for the whole situation of what's going down.
Yeah, for trying to prove his point, he picked the wrong guy. He's
Right?
a pretty steadfast, like sturdy rock of morality. You could have picked, I don't know.
I
Maybe
feel like
one
Alfred's pretty solid too, so Alfred probably wouldn't have done too well.
Alfred is super solid. It's crazy. Batman's surrounded by the most sane, morally sound people. Yet he's Batman, and he does.
And they're like, "Yeah, dude, we hang out with this guy."
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, life is one big joke. That's his whole thing. But of course, Batman comes and saves the day. We get a few shots of him interrogating people.
A nice little montage of the hunt down.
Nice little montage of the hunt down. But what about this? So the Joker tells his final joke. I imagine that's the killing joke, right?
I think so, with the sane asylum.
Yes, and it makes Batman laugh. So, and that's how the story ends. But I'll say the joke.
It's a great joke.
It is kind of funny. He says, so there's these two guys in a lunatic asylum. And one night, they decide they don't like living in an asylum anymore. They decide they're going to escape. So, like, he actually says that. So, like, they get up onto the roof, and there, just across this narrow gap, they see the rooftops of the town stretching away in the moonlight, stretching away to freedom. Now, the first guy, he jumps across with no problem, but his friend daren't make the leap. You see, he's afraid of falling. So then the first guy has an idea. He says, "Hey, I have my flashlight with me. I'll shine it across the gap between the buildings. You could just walk along the beam." But the second guy just shakes his head. He says, "What do you think, I'm crazy?" And then the Joker says, "You would turn it," or sorry, let me just. He said, "You think I'm crazy? You would just turn it off when I get halfway across." And that's the joke. It's kind of funny, right?
I like it. That was my favorite part.
It is kind of funny. Because obviously we're thinking like the craziness of it is walking across a beam in between buildings, but the other guy's talking about how crazy he would be to trust that he would keep the flashlight on. and it gets Batman to laugh.
Well, especially like when he tells it, like Batman's caught him just beating the hell out of him, right? And he's about to like kill him, basically.
Yeah.
And then he tells the joke, and it's just like that weird, like super tense, but then just the cheesiest joke about two crazy guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
It bugs me that the story doesn't end. Really, that was the end.
That's it. I kind of like it though. You know, there's like nothing else to really go on. It's just its standalone kind of greatness.
That's a good point. We've seen.
Yeah,
I mean, what do we? Yeah, it's true. You don't want to see him just take him back to Arkham again. I mean, we've seen that.
And have the Killing Joke 2, and yeah, it's got its own character to it. Totally
has its own character. I think the strength of this book is in the dialogue, though, and a lot of what the Joker says, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that what the Joker's dialogue is actually what makes the most sense about society.
And then his backstory, too, kind of thing, of the sympathy for him just kind of getting roped into being a criminal because he's trying to take care of his family deal and all that, you know, like gives you more human
100%
view of him.
A very human view. The writers were actually like in disagreement about whether or not to give the Joker an origin story. Somewhat of an origin story. They, like for Han Solo, for example, I would love if they never did that movie. I actually like the movie, I'll be honest. The movie's fine. I enjoy watching it.
I like the movie, but there are some parts that are
Yeah, like
just
how
the
his
solo,
name.
the
Yeah, the
name
name
part
was
is the
ridiculous, but
worst. It's
I
like,
just hated that you
oh,
brought back Harrison Ford for The Force Awakens, and then like a year or two later you recast him for an origin movie when you didn't need an origin for Han Solo.
yeah,
But this is a comic book. I kind of prefer to have at least one origin story for everybody.
yeah, and it is done well. Like the just the dialogue and how it expresses societal theories and stuff like that. Just kind of
For sure.
touching emotional content kind of shit.
For sure. Another strength on this book is the art. I think the art
Hmm.
is solid.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's a dude named Brian Bolland, which,
Super
yeah,
good.
unfamiliar with me, but really solid art. Short story. Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. It has a ton of character, and ending it like that is actually kind of nice. It just kind of adds to the character and the mystery of everybody. Batman, Joker, freaking. If this was a regular comic book, they would expand on what happens to Barbara. They would expand on taking the Joker to Arkham. They would expand on Jim Gordon's emotional state afterwards. But it's really short and sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's done well. It's done well.
For sure. Have you read anything else by Alan Moore?
Um, yeah. What else has Alan Moore done? He didn't do Watchmen, did
He
he?
did do Watchmen.
Yeah, he was Watchmen. Yeah, so I've read Watchmen. It's been a while since I've read Watchmen, though.
I picked up Watchmen the other day, and it's really slow, dude. It's really
It is.
slow.
It's a long one. Yeah.
But when you get through it, it does feel like a solid story. But I
I've al-
don't understand why everyone has it as like a top five all time comic book.
I've always well, and I think the age too. It's been around before it was cool, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of want to read those side ones. Have you ever seen those where they're like newer ones and they're just about each
Yeah,
character?
there's a Rorschach comic.
Yeah, Rorschach.
I haven't read it. Well, Doomsday Clock. Did you read that one?
Uh-uh. Does
Dude,
that have something to do with them? With Watchmen?
it's DC and Watchmen crossing over.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't read that one, but I know what
It's
you're talking
pretty
about.
cool. I don't think it's as high quality as the Watchmen, but
Yeah.
basically what it did was, I don't know if you're familiar with the whole story, but the New 52 came out and they changed a lot of lore, changed a lot of characters, relationships, origin stories, and fans were pissed about a lot of it. One thing they took out was a lot of the Justice Society people, all the flashes like Jay Garrick, maybe the Alan Scott Green Lantern and stuff. But the whole thing about Doomsday Clock was that Dr. Manhattan changed all of time, and he was the reason the New 52 happened in the first place.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that. He's kind of like, in that weird superpower mess all time kind of dude.
Omniscient kind of a guy.
Hmm. He
Crazy
did
though.
V.
V
He
for
did V for
Vendetta.
Vendetta too.
Did you read
That one
that?
is one of my favorites for sure.
Super good.
Oh yeah,
Super good. I
and
love V for Vendetta.
I love the show too, but the comic was actually way better. Like, and I
It's
didn't
so
think it
much
could
better.
be.
Getting
Hmm.
into the corruption of the villains, and he has way more badass scenes in the comic.
Right.
The movie just takes, when he bombs that building in the beginning of the comic and the movie takes me out of it when it starts playing that damn classical song during the bombing.
You don't like it? I
No,
love that. I love it.
it doesn't feel like the comic. It just like changes the vibe right there for me.
Maybe it's because I like that song.
The song is a great, classic, but for the bombing I didn't like it. I will say the movie had a dope scene at the end there when he kills all those people. That was not in the comic.
The like knife scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but the comic.
Mm.
Anyway, I mean, we summed up the book. I mean, it's short. You got
Short, sweet.
Barbara gets shot, takes Jim Gordon to prove a point about people going crazy and becoming villains. Batman stops them and tells a good joke, and boom, bang.
I think it's the Penguin who rats him out in the long run, right?
I was going to ask you about that. There's like a couple pages at the end of the book.
Oh,
Are they part of the
yeah.
story? Because I didn't read them because it was after the book ends, and there's an afterward comment from the author of a few paragraphs there, but then you get to see Jim Gordon
No,
talking about what happened.
I haven't read this for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's crazy. And it's about this guy in the beginning of it. He's like trying to kill Batman and setting him up for, yeah, like the talks of a crazy person. And I think he kills Batman.
Yeah, he shoots him in the head.
Or he's just daydreaming, one of the two.
I think that's why I didn't read it. It seemed like it was something else.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I can't. It's just like another little weird thing.
Yeah, very mysterious.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like weird little extras like that. They don't do it too often anymore.
Yeah. Is this your favorite Batman book?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? Have you read Court of
It's-
Owls?
I haven't read Court of Owls.
Have you read A Long Halloween?
No, but I heard that one's good.
Read those two and see if it's
Those
still
two?
your favorite. Those
I'll
are
have
sick.
to check it out.
There's a ton of good Batman stuff, but Alan Moore, he's just so good with dialogue, so good with like a captivating story that feels relevant in the real world.
Good storyteller.
Yeah, you got great art. You got Joker front and center. Joker's always satisfying to read as a villain, so it's a big
Right,
win.
gives you the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
Gives you the heebie-jeebies and some humanity here.
Isn't there a Penguin TV show coming out, or did that get canceled?
Absolutely still coming out. They got trailers out. That's official, baby.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers. I was thinking, I just remembered that. That should be all right though. Kind of anti-hero Penguin situation almost.
I think the Penguin show looks awesome, dude.
The vibe I'm getting.
I think it's going to be rated R, and Colin Farrell as the Penguin killed it.
Yeah, for sure. I have more faith in the Penguin than I do Superman.
I'm not against you there. There's it's more secure. I think it's definitely Matt Reeves already shown he's excellent in the Batman universe. So it's more reliably going to be good, I think. I mean, those trailers look so good, dude. It had a very obviously like Godfather, Goodfellas feel.
Right.
What's the other one I just watched the other day with what's that 3.5 hour gangster movie with like one of the thugs from Home Alone, and then
Joe Pesci?
and then Robert De Niro.
Goodfellas.
No, it's
No.
not Goodfellas.
Casino.
Not Casino.
Not Goodfellas and not Casino?
It's The Irishman.
Oh, The Irishman.
You seen that?
Newer one. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
I don't know what it was. I loved The Irishman.
A new gangster one I saw that was really good was The Gentleman on Netflix. It's like a
Okay.
series. There's a movie too with who the hell's in the movie? Matthew McConaughey, but it's good.
Oh hell
Check it
yeah!
out.
I like Matthew in those serious roles, like True Detective. Obviously, he was so freaking good.
That was good. It's been a while.
What about? I don't care that we're going off track, but have you seen the show Warrior on Netflix? Dude.
Is it like The Warriors?
There are some warriors in the show, but it feels like a kung fu show at first, but it's really about 1800s San Francisco, and China comes over, and there's some opium wars in China that a lot of them came to America and migrated to become slaves. But it's about a couple of Chinese gang groups. They're at war with each other. The police are after all of them. There's an Irish gang involved. Basically, what I thought first, it was a kung fu show that seemed like it was going to be a superficial, just a punch and kick fest, but the story's amazing. The characters are amazing. It's super complex. You're gonna not like characters and end up liking them. They all have really solid story arcs and solid story threads, and I just couldn't stop. And I haven't been able to even watch Star Wars. I can't binge The Boys or any of my favorite franchises because I don't have the attention span. The quality isn't there. I wasn't even a big fan of The Boys. This last season of The Boys wasn't great for me, but this Warrior show got me freaking hooked. I just can't
Warriors,
stop
where
watching.
it's at, huh?
It's really good.
I'll check it out.
Well, all right. Short story, short episode. We'll wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to go check out all of our House of the Dragon reviews. We got a novice nerd with Cassandra Nova, who is the villain of Deadpool and Wolverine. So that episode will get you caught up on who she is, her origin, her first appearance in comics, what she's about, including killing 16 million mutants at his crazy genocide. She's wild. Check out that novice nerd. What else we got? The Acolyte coverage. Whatever that's worth. And coming up here, we're going to do a little recap on the Rings of Power to get us caught up on that universe going into Season 2. So you can check that out. Look for that. We're going to collab with the Galactic Core podcast. You'll be able to find that episode on the Galactic Core podcast here shortly, and we're going to hang on to it and release it on the Why So Sidious podcast closer to Season 2 of Rings of Power. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and X at Why So Sidious Pod. Give us some love. We also have a support link in our podcast descriptions. You could scroll down and find a support link. You just give us all your money so we can keep doing this forever. And, the more money we get, the more we'll do this. We could quit our jobs and drop a video every single day if you give us enough of your money. We also have shirts, and we're trying to figure out how to show the world our shirts, because on TikTok the link doesn't click. You have to copy and paste it, and that is inadequate. Anyway, look for all that good stuff. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Well, the outro music's a little late, but we're gonna roll with it, baby. Just feel the jazz, kick back, and relax.